Wonderful to see you all. Welcome, 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 everybody. So excited to have you here. Welcome, everybody. I'm Mike DeLuca, your host, and this is our Sunday Goal Achievement MasterMind. This is brought to you by me and my company, Integrative Wellness and Development, LLC. And the opinions and the information are here strictly to educate, inspire, perspire, stimulate discussion, thought, and hopefully have you apply some of this information to your lives to make them more interesting, more productive, and more exciting. We do not make any claims of identifying, diagnosing, treating, or preventing any illnesses, conditions. This is not a instant money machine, get rich quick by applying these principles. It's really all up to you what you do with them. But my goal is to continue to research and come up with interesting topics and tools to continue to support you in your journey of goal achievement. So with that, I am going to go to the PowerPoint. And I'm going to get that going, and we will get started. Okay. Can you all see that? Excellent. So, topic for tonight, how to apply 8 Japanese principles for living a limitless life. I was speaking a little bit before we went live about, I spent many years in the field of industrial and manufacturing process improvement. And in my travels around the world doing that, I encountered many folks who had, tremendous experience in management consulting and process improvement. And for many of them, the principles they used were very closely associated with these Japanese principles of not only living, but also of industrial performance improvement. Some of these were a result of the work that was done post-World War II. Some of the work that was done by Edwards Deming, who was brought to Japan after World War II in order to help the Japanese reconstruct their country, their manufacturing, their entire, society and economy. So some of these principles are well-known principles in business and manufacturing, but they apply very well to our personal development and our goal achievement. And I came upon them, I was reviewing them this morning, and I said, you know what, I think this would be a great topic for our discussion tonight. And so here it is, and here we are. So let's move forward with it. So there are actually many principles. I focused on these 8 due to time constraints, and also I think they will provide very lively discussion. So here's the first one. Okay. No, this is not a form of sushi. Akigai. Okay. Clearly know your life's purpose. This is principle number 1 we're going to talk about. And they may look familiar from previous discussions we've had, but you know what? Important things require us to repeat. So tonight I'm going to repeat this. How important it is for us every day to connect with, to have clarity about, and to recommit ourselves to clearly knowing what our purpose is here in this life. If you are an individual, what's my purpose here in this life? What's my purpose, in the pursuit of my goals? If you have a job, if you have a business, what's the purpose of our business, right? What's the purpose of this product? And as you're developing that, important questions to ask are, number 1, who and how will you serve? Okay. When I wake up in the morning, after expressing my gratitude for my existence, for my life, for everything I've learned, for my family, all the love in my life, all the blessings I've had, all the people that are so valuable and precious to me, I focus and recommit on what is my purpose for being here in this life. What is my purpose for being here in the work that I do? What is my purpose for being a fellow human being? The first thing I look at is, who am I really, right? And I really connect with that. Who am I really, right? And then, how will I serve today? What's my goal today to be of service to life? That's in line with what is my purpose, right? Number two, or part two of that is, as part of Ikigai, what do you love to do the most and why? Okay. And for those of you who took my Your 9 Steps for Goal Achievement Mastery course, right, in the very first step of that course, I went into very detailed assessment with you about who are you, right? What do you love to do the most? What are your strengths, right? What superpowers do you have? What fears do you have, right? So what do you love to do the most and why? Why do you love that, right? What does it do for you? What does it do to you that causes you to love it so much? Okay. And is it because you love to do it or somebody else told you to do it, right? What do you love to do the most? Then the next question is, what are you really good at, right? It's a lot of stuff I love to do, but for me to provide value, I have to ask the question, what am I really good at? And I might need to put some attention on that to, if I really want to do that, am I at a level of proficiency where the world really needs what I do right now, right? And the world really needs what I could provide by doing what I love to do well. Yes or yes? Shake your heads, yes or no, or maybe. Okay. Do you see the connection here? Right? There's one thing to have interest. There's one thing to have things that I love to do. But to become clearly connected to what is your life's purpose, right? Are we good at it? Can we become good at it? And does the world really need underwater unicycle basket weaving, right? Does the world really need that? And can that make a major contribution that will create value? It might be fun. It definitely sounds interesting to watch, right? But how can you connect all of these things we've just been talking about, right? How and who will you serve? What do you love to do? What are you really good at? Does the world need this, what you're going to provide? And how do you connect all of these things to exchange value, right? Because there is a need there of exchanging of value. Are you providing value to someone, and are they willing to exchange value with you to continue to help you survive to do what you love to do? Right? Okay. So that's number one, Ikigai. Right? Not to be confused with Ikigai, those icky guys that might be hanging around and, you know, saying nasty things on social media. We don't like those. This is Ikigai. Know your life's purpose. Okay. Number two, Shikata ga nai. This is acceptance and surrender. Okay. Now, I don't mean hold up the white flag, surrender, lay down in front of the first challenge that comes. What I mean is determine what you can and what you cannot control in this situation, right? We are going to be moving forward in our lives. We're going to be pursuing goals and objectives, right? And our passions, but we're going to encounter challenges along the way. We're going to encounter things that stand in the way of what we want in our lives, right? These are people, events, things. We need to determine these things I'm facing, right? What can be under my control to handle this situation, right? What am I in control of? Or the things that are standing in my way, or this major obstacle, is it such that there are people or things or, nature about this thing that I have no ability to influence it? I have no control. I have no leverage, right? It's important for us to be able to honestly assess that and determine, I've looked at it, I've analyzed all the options, I've looked at where my strengths are, my talents, my tools, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this is just beyond my pay grade. This is really beyond my tool set and my ability to control this. And I might need to accept that, right? I might need to accept that I cannot control this situation in the face of adversity, and I might need to surrender and retreat and live to fight another day and find another way to move forward and achieve the goals that I am trying to pursue. Okay. So it's important that we have a positive view of acceptance and surrender, that it's not giving up. It is analyzing the situation and realizing we do not have the leverage to influence it. We're better off pulling back, going around it, and, finding a different hill to climb. This is not the hill you want to die on. This is the hill you want to go around. Okay. And I think we've all faced situations in our lives where there were hills that, it was a tough climb and I had to use all my strength and creativity, but I knew I had the opportunity to climb it. It was going to be tough, but then there are certain hills, certain situations, challenges, and people we run into to where we don't have the leverage and the ability, and that is not the hill we want to die on, right? Is that clear for everybody? Does that make sense? Yeah. And I think you can all remember times in your life where you face that. Sometimes there's a time to fight, there's the time to push on, and there's a time to pull back, regroup, and go around, live to fight another day. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi, graciously accepting imperfection, right? This is important, right? This is developing the grace to understand that nothing lasts forever. Nothing is completely finished yet. And nothing is perfect. So in our personal lives, and especially in our, relationships with ourselves and other people, this principle is about graciously accepting our own flaws, our own imperfections, and in doing so, embracing and understanding the flaws of others and being accepting of that as well. Okay. So we learn through this principle that everything in nature contains imperfections, right? And this principle encourages us to embrace the beauty of imperfection, of the differences between us, and also the transience of situations in life, right? Because everything has imperfections, everything has unique differences, but also everything is temporary. Right? We are temporary in this form that we take right now. Our lives, everyone in it, everything we have, everything we own, everything that owns us, all of that is temporary. So this principle encourages us to use our resilience and our creativity to create a new course of action, right? But always to accept all and not judge perfection or imperfection. See the unique beauty in everything and everyone in whatever form we take. In doing that, we move away from focusing on the differences and judging each other and disconnecting from each other based on the differences, to embracing the differences, to letting go of preconceived ideas and evaluations of the illusion of perfection. And we simply see each other and ourselves as we are, and we embrace it all, recognizing the beauty and the value inside of each of us and inside of each imperfection. Make sense? We've all had situations where we've practiced this, and also life causes us to learn that we have to practice this, right? But if we do, our lives become so much richer and more limitless. Okay, this is one of the most familiar ones to people, and especially if you are in business and industry, manufacturing. Kaizen is this concept of constant, continuous improvement. And this applies to our personal growth, our professional growth, our relationships, our spiritual growth. And that is, we want to look for small opportunities every day to improve, make small improvements each day in our quality, in our efficiency, in our effectiveness, right? In our consciousness, in our awareness, right? In our knowledge, our wisdom, our talents, right? We never, ever, ever want to rest on our laurels. To say, oh, but I did 12 years of school or 16 years of school 50 years ago. Isn't that enough? No. The world has changed, knowledge has changed, life has changed. So we want to embrace the beauty in becoming a constant, eternal student of life, of ourselves, and of improvement. When we move towards not just trying to do this or attempting to do this, but doing it regularly, to where we create a culture within ourselves, within our organizations, within our family, within our society, of constant, consistent, gradual improvement, always looking forward, but still appreciating and celebrating what we and who we already are, what we and who we already have. You always want to be grateful for it and celebrate it, but always looking down the road to, how could I make it better? How could I grow from this even more? And as part of what we, went over in your 9 Steps for Goal Achievement Mastery program, we learned that a powerful tool for facing a challenge or achieving a goal, which might seem really, really big, is to break those goals down into small, tiny, achievable, measurable steps. So then to look forward each day to say, okay, I'm up, I've expressed my gratitude for life and everything I am and have, my love for all life, and now I'm focusing on my goals for today. I really want to achieve this thing, this improvement. How do I do that? We look at the small, measurable steps. We write them down, we break it down, and then we create momentum of growth through taking daily action, daily, hourly, and, minutely, if that's a word, constant, consistent, gradual action. This is the key to achieving anything. It's certainly the key to maintain momentum, build stamina. We talked about this in your 9 Steps of Goal Achievement Mastery, building strength, stamina, and momentum through breaking things down into small, achievable, measurable steps and maintaining a momentum of growth through constant and consistent daily action. And there is a place for this in harmony with divine guidance, right? We can be receiving divine guidance to move in a certain direction, but we still have to be the one to make the plan and take the action in order to manifest the growth, being inspired divinely, right? So in the end, it's important to build that momentum and be looking to take action each day, right? There was a comedian who said, oh, I bought this dog and, I had to take it out 5 times a day. That got really tiring and boring. So I decided I was just going to take it for one long walk from Maine to Florida. And then I would never have to walk it again. It doesn't work that way. Our dogs go out 5 or 6 times a day, and that's just part of the deal, right? 5 or 6 times a day, we are taking action towards the goal of them getting exhausted and sleeping. Okay. Let's move on to number 5. How we doing? Shuhari. Shuhari. Learning and mastery. Okay. This is important, whether for personal development or for a business or for a job or anything, a relationship, raising children, right? Always seeking to identify, learn, and master the basics, right, of everything and anything you are trying to do and achieve. One of the greatest coaches in the history of American football, Vince Lombardi, started training camp every season with all of his veterans sitting down with all of the rookies. And the first thing he would do is he would take a football and he would hold it up and say, gentlemen, this is a football. And they would laugh at him. And then he'd go over the basics, right? The basics of conditioning, the basics of training, the basics of communication on the field, of having a vision of the field and what's going on, of working together with your teammates, all basics, right? But he had recognized that you do not build proficiency and mastery without mastering the basics and revisiting them over and over and over again. And you have to make the time to identify and study what are the basic principles, strengths, processes involved in me achieving the goal I'm trying to achieve. And I have to keep refreshing it, right? We have in our midst one of the most talented performers and composers I've ever met in my life. And I know that Russell practices every day, and he practices the basics, the basic scales and the basic things that he learned 50 years ago or 40 years ago or lifetimes ago. But he still goes back to the basics every day, refreshes and builds on them to maintain mastery. And it's part of our lives, regardless of what we do. Right? So create a solid foundation, but continue to build on it. Right? Then explore new approaches to incorporate your own unique style, right? Your own vibe, your own consciousness, your own personality. Once you have the basics down, then you can begin to build on them and explore how to include your own unique creative self. People thought, wow, Picasso, these incredibly different, unique, drawings and paintings he did is so incredibly creative, but they don't realize the years he spent focused on doing the traditional disciplines of drawing, kind of Da Vinci-esque detail to every line of every form and every muscle, right? They don't see that. A great performer, a great jazz pianist that, can create on the spot and improvise. They don't realize it took years and years and years of practicing the basics before they could go and begin to branch off from that into improvisation. And finally, use that creativity and use your innovation to pioneer new directions once you've mastered the basics. These are the opportunities within Shuhari. Okay. Number 6, Mono no Aware, the beauty of impermanence. Interesting, the beauty of impermanence. This is recognizing the beauty in the fleeting moment. Understanding that everything is a brief, brilliant shooting star, right? Every experience we are having is brief and impermanent, and every moment is fleeting. So it's important to recognize it. It's important to accept that all things must eventually fade away. My favorite songs from George Harrison, All Things Must Pass, is also his first solo album. All things must pass, all things must fade away. As much as we want to rail against the storm, as much as we want to try to prevent the inevitable, and we cry and we mourn, that will still not change the fact that everything is impermanent and will eventually change, will eventually fade away, but it doesn't disappear. It changes in its frequency, vibration, and location, but energy cannot be destroyed. So instead of continuing and constantly suffering the pain of losing everything and anything. We shift to celebrating in the moment. Each moment we are there with it, celebrating with gratitude. And understand that the true beauty, the true essence inside of those things we love and those things we appreciate and those things we cherish, that true beauty lasts forever. We hold it inside our memory, we hold it inside our minds, we hold it inside our hearts. And hopefully we take that gratitude and we implement what we have appreciated, and we apply those characteristics and qualities that we appreciate into our lives and the way we live our lives. Okay. Number 7, Gaman. Gaman is endurance. Okay, this is a principle that must be practiced, just like if you want your muscles to stay strong, they must be exercised and they must be fed. Gaman means stay strong, right? To persevere regardless of what life throws at us. Stay strong. Never lose hope. Have the eye of the tiger, right? Constantly ready to pounce through a situation, but also have the skin of an alligator, right? The toughness of the skin of an alligator, that's why it's survived for millions of years in that form. It's tough. It is tough. And so we need to develop some toughness, rather than it be callousness. It really is strength and perseverance, thick skin. And an important part of that is always, always, always embrace and protect your right to choose how to act, rather than getting into the pattern of reacting. And then reacting turns into emotional reacting. It turns into creating discord, creating tension, creating more negativity, right? Creating more challenges for us. So always embrace and protect your right to choose how to act in a given situation, where you are in control of yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your choices, rather than reacting, which is giving over your power to the situation or the other person. In the martial arts and in sports, this is always a key factor. You know, we were taught, don't allow your emotions to enter into the situation, because when you do, the opponent owns you. And you see this in professional sports where they're trash talking and they're getting inside of the person's head. They're trying to manipulate them psychologically. It's being done to us all the time, whether we realize it or not. Our emotions are being triggered and manipulated to create tension, separation, disconnection. Don't let that happen. Protect your right to choose how to act and not react. And then part of Gaman is life is a marathon. Play the long game, right? Play the long game. The last one I chose for tonight was Motani. And Motani has to do with respect and ecology. The principles of Motani are value and respect all people, all places, and all things. all things, all resources, right? Always strive to use respectfully all the things we come into contact with and into possession, and strive to never be wasteful, right? Even though we would say, well, I own this, I can do whatever I want with it. You don't really own anything. We are stewards. You know, the indigenous people of North America understood that. Their belief was nobody owns the land. Nobody owns the earth. You can create your maps and say, now I own this. This is, but it's an illusion. You cannot own the earth. You can be a steward, so why not be an honorable steward of the earth, of food, of water, of energy, of nature, and of time? Respect and do not waste any and all of the resources life has given us. Especially, don't waste the time that we have. Make time to rest. Make time to enjoy yourself. Make time to express your creativity. Make time to create powerful relationships. Make that time, but make it valuable time. Okay? Because you won't get that back. And if you have goals, if you have purpose to your life, if you want to see growth, if you want to see progress, if you want to see an ever evolving wise self grow every day, use your time wisely. That's the seventh principle. All right, so let's come back to the group. Here you are. And see you all again. Hey, any questions, any comments? Did anything ring out to you? Right? Something that you feel you might want to put some attention on? Do you have a question? Do you have a story? You know, an idea about it? This is your time now to share. So go ahead. Just, one at a time, unmute yourself and share what you'd like to share. If not a comment, was it valuable? What was it valuable? How are you going to take this and do something with it? Go ahead and share. And remember to be bold. Be bold and adventuresome.
Well, I'm just driving, but it was all extraordinary to me. And I want to work on every single thing that you mentioned. It was just amazing.
I'm right there with you, Russell. I'm right there with you. Revisiting this stuff. And, we know all of this stuff, right? But, part of my goal is to dig up these things and bring them back to our attention and our awareness, and stimulate the desire to go find out more about it. And you'll find that in the things that you love and believe in and trust and follow, it's all there, right? These are timeless truths and principles, but it's valuable to put our attention on them because this helped recreate an entire society that was blown to rubble. Right? And many of these principles were used to bring them back from the edge of extinction to a thriving, powerful technological and cultural, power. And it works for individuals as well as for communities, countries, and it works for planets too.
And I thought it was amazing, the first one, which lists things like, well, is is your dream something that the world needs? And is it something that you do well or can do well? And I mean, all those different types of things that sometimes don't enter into my thinking, you know. So I mean, I think it does on some level, but the way you put that and the way they put that, it's really helpful. Possibly where I could maybe weed out a few things in my life.
Yeah, and you know, weeding out is not surrendering, it's not failing, it's or giving up on things. Weeding out is making your focus that much stronger and the quality of products you do produce that much more powerful, right? When we have a garden, right, you know, we have the plants we planted, but then there's also weeds that grow and they sap away the water and the nutrients, right? So by being good gardeners, we weed out the things that will sap the resources so that the things that are good to grow and we want to grow will grow higher, bigger, stronger. It takes that discipline of weeding out. Right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Russell, and thank you for your inspiration. You inspire me all the time, and what you've developed through hard work, dedication, love, and you know, a lot of talent. You have served in so many ways, so many people by sharing the fruits of your dedication and you're applying these principles. And you know, you all have in your own way, shape, and form. But special shout out to Russell because he's here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Russell.
I find the combination is just beautiful, right? Because I see how this gives you a divergent focus or a soft, expanded focus. And, you know, I would typically describe myself as flexible, but I have seen, like, when I get up against the wall, I am pretty myopic and one way and head against the wall till it's bloody. You know, I don't graciously accept. You know, I guess I'm just all about perseverance, and but I know that that's wrong. I mean, I know that it has, I shouldn't say wrong. I know that it has not worked for me. And so when you look at all of these pieces together, you see that it brings a sort of balance. And it makes me, you know, I'm trying to think about how I would run something through a filter of this to give myself a break. But so I would say the wabi sabi is what I need to work on most.
And remember to honor the imperfection.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and also remember that, you know, we all, Robin, you're incredibly guilty of being human. So you're sentenced to eternity of growing, which is it's a great place to be. It's a great place to be, eternity of growing and learning, like we all are. But remember that the things that stand in our way are not imperfections, they're patterns we've learned, right? That others have bestowed on us, or we have bestowed on ourselves in some way, shape, or form. And we can replace those patterns with new productive patterns. And these principles are just one of many we've learned and we share that will help in creating productive, positive patterns for us to follow to build, you know, a more limitless life, a more enjoyable life, and inspire others to do the same. You know, I say this over and over, when one person makes the effort to move forward in their lives, to grow in consciousness, to grow in wisdom, to grow in proficiency, to grow in humility, to grow in any way, shape, or form, they become an example to others that it is not only possible, but probable. And it inspires others. Others, it might really tick off. And that's their decision because they have their negative patterns they have to deal with. But we protect our right to choose to act and not react to them reacting, right? And there's the principle at work there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Robin, for being so generous to share your experience and your ideas. And we're all growing, we're all learning, we're all in this constant little step-by-step improvements and evolution, right? I don't even like to look at it as improvement. I look at it as evolution. Take another step forward. Take another step forward. Who else? No, I share this stuff not because I make any claims to have mastered any or all of this. I'm working on it every day, little by little, trying to get just a little bit, a little bit more adept and trying to become a more masterful servant of life by using whatever tools I can get my hands on, right? My toolbox is so huge and I add to it every day. And many times I'll revisit old, tools I haven't worked with for a while. It'll come back up again that, hey, now it's time to revisit this tool. Good. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go back to the basics. Randy. Yeah, you're going to want to unmute. You're going to want to unmute.
In the corner. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. I was really, brought back to, an area that we had talked about, particularly about clearly knowing your life's purpose. And I thought it was ironic that, the next few lines is, what is it that you love to do the most? And what are you good at? So if we didn't know our life's purpose before we embarked upon, our interaction with life on a day by day basis, well, then we certainly are going to be opened up to what it is that our purpose in life is now reaching out to us and bringing us closer to what that it actually is.
Love that image, Randy. I
Yeah.
love that image, right? Our purpose in life will reach out to us and unveil itself to us through what we love, what we're good at, what we're interested in. Absolutely. Great point. Really great point.
Yeah. So I think a lot of us are living that, what are you good at? You provide value. And how rewarding that is when you look at people who are being helped by what you do, and that there is inherent value in what you do, and it's helping them in so many ways as it's helping me by doing that. And it's just it's a wonderful interaction with life that what it is that I've discovered, what it is that I love to do most, and what I'm good at, and so on. And it keeps bringing me not only around to more of about me, but it's bringing me to the people that are waiting for me to
Yes.
accomplish this.
Yes.
And they are now coming forth and reminding me that everything that I have been given is all in accordance with what it is that I have to share, what it is that I can be of service for, and allow, the divine presence that has orchestrated all of this now to touch them in a unique way.
Absolutely. Really well put, Randy. Yeah, really well put. And you can see in your life those powerful things that you have researched for so long and have experimented with and have developed, and then turned it into a way of sharing to others and serving others, and then seeing it impact on people's health and lives and saving lives, and helping people lengthen their lives. And as long as I've known you, that was a passion. You were passionate about learning about this stuff, applying it, and then finding a way to create value for others from that. And you did it, and you're doing it, right? And that's inspiring, and you're a living example of what we're talking about here. And it doesn't have to, like Mother Teresa says, we don't have to do lots and lots of great things. We just have to do whatever we do with great love, great focus, right? Put our entire being into it, right? And do whatever it is we do with all of ourself in it, all of our interests, our passions, our work, our efforts. And that will help us through the really tough times when you're looking at yourself and saying, am I going to be able to move through this? Am I going to be able to overcome this challenge? Am I going to be able to survive tomorrow? Right? When we face those types of really tough times, because we've done all of this foundational work, because we can revisit those basic principles of who am I really? I go through this every day. Remember who you are. Remember who you really are, right? Not what the television says or the crowds and the social media and everything else. Not what anyone or anything says. Remember who you really are. At the very core of your being, remember why you are here. Remember that clearly. My good friend Rodney says, remember who you are and remember whose you are.
Right.
Because it's important to remember why you're here and who or what you came to serve and provide value.
Right.
We can either be contributors or consumers, right? So
yeah, and Michael also, in that I personally am worthy of the love that was implanted within me to manifest, motivate, and to provide everything that was necessary in order to make this happen. And so when people get our product, they get whatever it is. They're also getting this powerful force of unconditional love that motivated me all this way to get here to the point where they were now the recipient of not just our plants.
Yes. And they are the recipient, but the greater whole has received something greater from your actions. Right? It's not just the one person, the one customer. It's the entire the entire field of existence is nourished when we grow, when we make the effort to create value, however that value is, whether it's creating a smile for someone, whether it's being kind to a person that has trouble, whether it is offering a helping hand, right, in coin or in action, whatever it is we do to create value, that value enters the field of life and everyone benefits from it energetically, even though we may be invisible to the rest of them, right? And that's why I do what I do, right?
Me too.
I want to constantly and continually provide value, valuable information, valuable inspiration, valuable coaching, valuable, tools. I'm not even going to go through my typical commercial tonight. It's all there. It's all there. MikeDeLucaCoach.com. You're interested, go look at it, or just, watch the videos on my Facebook or my YouTube channel. The information's all there. I don't want to bore you with the commercial, but that's why I do what I do. That's why I create what I create. That's why I share what I share. I want to create value, and I know you do too. And so I not only appreciate but applaud you, and want to continually support your efforts to grow personally, professionally, inspirationally, and every day become a more valuable creator of value to yourself, your family, your community, to life itself. That's why I do what I do, and that's why you do what you do. So thank you, Randy, and thank you all. We've come to the end of our time here. I'm very, very grateful you shared this time with me, your attention, your love. Very, very grateful for you being out there in the world. I love you all. I appreciate every ounce of your being and every ounce of what you give to life. And look forward to seeing you again in our next meeting. And this will be live on, this will be recorded on my Facebook Live. And, you can see how to contact that through going to my personal Facebook page, or check the email I sent you all, or check the Facebook instant messenger message I sent to you. All of that information is there. And it's always the same every week. The Zoom address and the Facebook address is always the same. So, all right. Thank you all. Have a great night, a great week. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take good care.